host can return to its regular activities, looking, acting and seeming completely normal. Marshall reports that the Illuminati even hold a special body snatching ceremony to celebrate this virl lizard takeover. Guests watch as the victim, conscious, though usually bound, is restrained and forced to sit still, until the lizard transfer is complete. Marshall claims to have seen this sick body snatching ceremony many times. Marshall claims that the Illuminati body snatch many people, in every country, all over the world. They sometimes choose victims from incarcerated prisoners or long-term patients in hospitals and medical facilities. Anywhere they have easy access to people, they will body snatch and replace them with a virl host. Anyone can be body snatched and, according to Marshall, he's even seen this done to young children. Furthermore, Marshall claims that all loyal families within the Illuminati are expected to offer one of their children to be replaced by a virl host. They comply since there is the unspoken threat that should they prove to be difficult, they can be body snatched at any time. Marshall says he has even seen body snatching done with just a couple of guys holding someone down while the victim is screaming. No ceremony required. According to Marshall, the Illuminati utilize this unique parasitic ability of the lizards to further their own dark agenda. They are able to remove those resistant to their goals without anyone even noticing, and with virl body snatching, the troublesome person is now replaced with an Illuminati spy, infinitely loyal and willing to report back everything they see and hear. It is crucial to understand virl lizard psychology, since Marshall maintains that all virl lizards want to be human. They admire human intelligence in the beautiful human form. They want to crawl out from deep underground into the light and walk unnoticed among humanity. However, they are not human and have no capacity to feel human emotions. In fact, as malevolent lizards, they enjoy causing pain and suffering. Marshall reveals that virl hosts are responsible for much of the senseless crimes and spree killings that occur. However, virl hosts are excellent mimics and make convincing humans. And since there is no way to detect the presence of a virl host, except with an MRI scan of the brain, most members of the Illuminati pretend to like the lizards and are friendly to virl hosts, since no one is ever certain if they are talking to a host or human. According to Marshall, prehistoric virl lizards have been body snatching humans throughout history, even during ancient times. He claims that they are, in part, responsible for the destruction of the island of Atlantis, where legend tells lived an advanced civilization that existed in the Atlantic Ocean. Marshall reports that virl hosts had body snatched and infiltrated their way into positions of power throughout Atlantean culture, where they destroyed themselves with advanced weaponry, causing cataclysmic flooding and earthquakes. Marshall asserts that virl lizards often infiltrate human societies by targeting individuals in the ruling class, royalty or priesthood. Once they are in positions of power, virl lizards attempt to convince the humans to worship them as either gods or demons, something to be feared and obeyed without question. As gods, virl lizards will demand human sacrifices as a show of loyalty and devotion. In these cultures, it was considered an honor to be body snatched and chosen to become a god. The people didn't understand the biological nature of the takeover of the brain, and thought it was some kind of mystical or magical transformation. As demons, virl lizards were deeply feared. Old legends warn travelers against going into certain haunted caves and mountains, and to beware when darkness falls, as this was the time when demons would creep about, stealing babies and livestock. When virl lizards would body snatch a victim, the person was later said to be demon-possessed and various means would be attempted to drive the demons out. Many cultures around the world attempted to limit virl lizard infestation, and Marshall says most, at some point, start sharpening pointy sticks. For example, the Hopi Indian culture successfully drove off virl lizards, while the ancient Anasazi Indians of New Mexico were forced to leave behind their elaborate cliff dwellings in order to relocate far away from nearby virl-infested caves. Throughout history, the lizards stayed hidden underground, in dark caves and tunnels, trying to avoid discovery. Some royal families kept virl lizards as pets, and used them to instill fear in those not showing the proper loyalty to the crown. Some world religious leaders also knew of the lizards, had secret alliances with them, and agreed to help them. In the 1940s, a secret pact was forged between the Nazis and the lizards, making them mutual allies. Conditions of the pact required directing tremendous resources to assist the virl lizards, including the building of deep, underground military bases worldwide. This would allow the lizards a way to interact directly with humans, which, in turn, would permit the massive, government-sponsored body snatching so prevalent around the world today. If we can assume that all of this is true, that body snatching malevolent lizards have infiltrated human society and are replacing us, one by one, without raising any alarm, one might ask, wouldn't someone try to tell people and save humanity? According to Marshall, President Ronald Reagan tried to warn the public on numerous occasions from 1985 to 1988. In an important speech to the United Nations General Assembly on September 21, 1987, at the height of the Star Wars space race with Russia, Reagan mused, "In our obsession with the antagonisms of the moment, we often forget how much unites all the members of humanity. Perhaps we need some outside, universal threat to make us recognize this common bond. I occasionally think how quickly our differences would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside of this world. And yet I ask, is not an alien force already among us? What could be more alien to the universal aspirations of our people than war and the threat of war?" Marshall states that the Illuminati forgave Reagan's comments at first, but when he continued to talk about aliens living among us, they blew his mind and called it Alzheimer's. Marshall encourages us to remember the ultimate virl lizard agenda, which he claims has remained unchanged for centuries, to infiltrate human society and take over the planet. Marshall warns us to act quickly to spread the news, as anyone can be body snatched. As the ending from the invasion of the body snatchers warns us, they're already here. You're next.
Doesn't that sound like Neo fighting all the Agent Smiths? Because the reptilian virl are Agent Smiths, and they're slowly going around assimilating people or taking them over or body snatching them. And I think that's where we are now, is where if we don't wake up and get to the Holy Grail, we're just going to get snatched. And